Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Erudition Network. I am Eddie Phillips, and this is Saturday, and we are here for the Saturday night wrap up session where we kind of go over some of the things that we talked about on the network this week and give an opportunity for those of you who do join us on Saturday to voice your thoughts, opinions, and concerns, and give your questions to anything that may have been covered, and to give you an opportunity to just maybe drop something that you wanted to ask live while we're on here that you did not get a chance to due to work, due to scheduling issues, due to whatever was going on. And so I try very hard to make sure that we have a session on Saturdays that will give time for this, because we do have 3 different programs that go on in the Erudition Network. First being Adroit Living, which comes on Monday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, where my wife, Tina Phillips, talks about mental health, living an adroit life, a skillful, happy life. And then on Wednesdays, my sons have a show called Erudition Generations, where they come on and talk about things that they believe that are of interest to young people, of 4 different peer groups. And so this network tries very hard to provide time and energy and effort into growing a positive message and assisting people. And on Thursdays, I skip myself, do a Thursday show on Black history or history in general, and knowledge, right? Where we spend an hour delving into some information in history. We take a bibliophile mentality on what we can read and where we can go to gain knowledge on different subjects. And I encourage people to come on for any of those sessions because they're all live. They're live with the hope that you will engage and get involved. We try so hard to encourage people to be with the lives, but we do understand that scheduling and life and things and everything happens. It happens to us also. So giving that time is important, and that is why I'm here tonight on Saturday to discuss with you some of the things that we went over on this week. Lastly, because we keep forgetting to do this, the Erudition Network costs money and time, and we would greatly appreciate anything that you may want to help the network out with. We have, that is our Cash App that is down there, that we have, and I don't know, let me check something here. If you choose to be a help to the network, it is greatly appreciated. As we said, anything and everything is appreciated because, this is a weekly effort that we as a family try to engage in at least 4 times a week now, even with this. So it is greatly appreciated. All right. So this week, Tina wasn't necessarily on. She had some scheduling things she had to take care of on Monday, but she will be back, I believe, this Monday for Adroit Living. But let me tell you, my wife is greatly concerned with how people live in this era of depression, misplaced aggression, anger, people not knowing how to soothe themselves, self-soothe, people not knowing how to communicate, people not knowing how to live a happy life. It is very, very important to have a show where you talk about mental health. And here's the funny part. I like her hobby is fish. And that is a soothing method, right? She invests her time and effort and love and maintaining the calming fish tank that you see in the background of her show every week. Even that takes work, right? But she does that because it's something that makes her happy during stressful times. She's working on her education just as I'm working on mine, and two of my sons are working on theirs. And to get on every Monday to talk about mental health is something that is important and something that she has to live herself, and keeping her health, her mind, her spirit properly aligned. Um, it is not an easy thing for any of us, and I encourage you to join her on Mondays as she discusses ways to do that and provides with guests different perspectives on things that many of us sometimes think are taboo, that we shouldn't talk about, but are hurting us and holding us down in many ways daily. So having that that program is an important part of this network, and I appreciate her consistent time that she makes to get that done, because it should be appreciated. And as I said, she will probably be back here next Monday. The boys, they had a show this week where they talked about, amongst other things, animals, right? And how those things can play into helping you, and also give you an understanding of who you are, right? What are the fears and concerns that you have in life? They talked about a gamut of things, and it's always funny with the boys because they talk about these things as brothers and ask each other questions. But if you watch that program, I think you will get something from it, because what of all ages, no matter what age you are, because what I have found with their program is they're talking about your stability also. They're talking about how to live. Um, when it comes down to what we're seeing throughout the country, young folks being shot for doing regular things, right? Being lost and driving into a driveway and having your car shot at, ringing a doorbell and someone shooting you with the intentions to kill, going and getting out of the car to go open a car door for a car that you think is yours and someone shooting at you. Here in Colorado, we had a situation a couple of days ago where someone was out throwing stones at moving vehicles, hit a young woman's car. She crashed her truck and died. We are having so many things happening with young people. And I appreciate the boys for getting on every week to give you a little bit of levity, to give you a little bit of understanding, to address some of these loony things that are going on from their perspective, so that you can hear the voice of young people. It is just important. And but again, I guess my theme of tonight is I'm so proud of where we're going and things that we're doing for this program, because I don't think when we started it, um, Erudition as a whole. Sometimes division is one thing, and then you stay consistent in doing it. And we try, as a family, as an organization, as a group, to stay consistent in what we're doing, despite whatever is going on in our personal lives. And that is important. And I see um, the effects of it and how it is touching other people and how it's starting to help others. For me, this week, I spent a decent amount of time this week talking about um, a lot of the things I just kind of went around uh, the edges of that my family tends to talk about every week. But one of the things that is a passion of mine, and is also upsetting to me, is that our knowledge, who we are, where we're going. Um, you know, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, was it like it might have been last week? Um, we had the situation in Chicago, and historically, when you look at people, saying that the young people were wild, right, and they were running around and uh, destroying downtown Chicago, and it is true, right? It is true that all of those things were going on, but at the same time, there's a historical perspective here to be had. And so we talked about that. We talked about the violence. We talked about the way that we label violence, the disproportionate ways in which we do that. Um, we talked about why conflict happens. Um, we spent a lot of the program um, on Thursday giving a lot of the um, history behind why we keep falling into these traps. And it was a good program, even though I think majority of it um, was just ad hoc. We uh, went into it not really knowing exactly what we were going to talk about, and then going deeper and deeper into it. Sean Anthony, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Um, and so I think that the point that needs to be made um, is that we just really have to start studying and learning, and we need to be more honest. We need to be more honest. I get some flack um, on the Thursday show because as a public historian, I think people think that every week I'm supposed to get on with a um, whiteboard and go down a history line with you. And I try to do that sometimes, but I believe we are better served by having a discussion. Having a discussion. I believe we are better served by leaving it open for you to ask questions. Now, if I'm wrong with that, as I tell people every Thursday, get in the chat and tell me. I try very hard to go over subjects that I think are going to be we need to go into, that are going to be important or haven't been touched on. Right? When I talk about prehistoric man, sometimes I'll get into that because someone asked a question about it, and I'll expound on that. Sometimes I'll get into early world civilizations like the Carthaginians, Mesopotamians, but that comes because someone asked about that. Unless I see something or identify something that I feel is greatly misunderstood. I try to give the audience the ability to choose what they want to hear and talk about. I think 2 weeks ago, Tina got on and she started asking about nuclear energy. Here's the thing. We do these sessions with the idea of one thing, but this is I try not to be braggadocious, but this is a very educated family. We have discussions in our own household that run the gamut of history, English literature, biology, science. So we cover a lot of things. Psychology. Tina, as you know, is working on with her doctorate in psychology. I have two sons who I've studied in that field. I have a degree in psychology. So that's a part of what we do too. I have a very, very good foundation in science and physics. I also, it's just, I have a lot of things that we can cover. We can cover. Good to see you, Eric. Thank you. So we try very hard in these programs to give you these things. I have a son who wants to be and is studying to be a forensic psychologist. So the analysis side of it and understanding analysis. I appreciate the fact that my kids are very analytical. I appreciate the fact I shouldn't just say my kids, my wife is very analytical. So that allows us to talk about things that, yeah, we may start in one area or one genre of study and knowledge and find ourselves talking about something completely different. And in all of that, providing you some place, book, person to go to learn further. That is the beauty and the benefit, I believe, of the Erudition Network, right? And I appreciate those who do get and get with us and ask questions. I had a program a couple of, it might have been a year ago, where I was very much engaged in having conversations about nihilists. And if you don't know what a nihilist is, you're probably not living in our society, right? We have a lot of people in this society who believe that life has no purpose, meaning moral responsibility. And because we have so many people taking on a nihilistic mentality and this idea of futile thinking, we have a problem in this country. Many people don't know that they're thinking in a nihilistic assertion. They don't know that hopelessness is based on a philosophy that is pushed to them daily. And unfortunately, because we don't understand that philosophical approach, because we don't understand the psychology that feeds out of that philosophy, we lose our way. We lose our way. And so I just think we try very hard. This is the theme tonight. It wasn't my theme when I was thinking I was going to get on here. To give you a different perspective. right? To give you a different perspective. Because if we don't, a lot of us follow. We follow. And it becomes unfortunate. So this whole thing on this network is to talk about these things and to give you a differing opinion, approach. Um, I can't tell you, and maybe I should really start to get back into the idea of behind what is motivating nihilists, right? Because I think that as I look at what's going on in the society right now, this meaninglessness, this just acceptance of it. You know, we are often thrown different names, you know, Kierkegaard, Nietzsche, right? We people who are educated and bibliophobic, they talk to you about these people, but what they never really want you to understand is that people who live with a futile mentality, not only do they not live long, but the people who they influence typically don't live long either. It is a very, very dangerous mentality to take on, but it is deeply rooted in our system of thought in America specifically, or particularly. And there is this whole idea of intransigent thinking, right? That if you talk about it, people want to push against you. They don't want you to talk about these things. So it is something I think we might need to just get back into and really, really, really start to address again in the lessons that that we're talking about. You said explain. Yes, it does explain these daily shootings. It explains how hopelessness is a problem. It is a dangerous problem. And you know, unfortunately, you know, Eric, the thing is, I don't care what your cultural background is. I don't care what your uh, uh, sectarian political background is. If you are a nihilistic person, if you believe that there is nothing worth your time, effort, love, compassion, then there's going to be a problem. And you're going to have people who hurt each other. I could give you a historical perspective on it. All you would have to do is go look at the Great Depression. Look at what happened during the Depression. At the beginning of the Depression, as people started to lose their fortunes, people who had fortunes since the time of the Revolutionary War. And when those fortunes garnered from a century of work were stripped from them, people gave up hope, leaped off of bridges, buildings. And then what we also don't talk about during those times is that people got more violent. Lynchings in the South increased. Murders in the inner city increased. People started to talk about eugenics and the idea of killing people or even neutering them in order to reduce the amount of people in the country. because no empathy was given, no compassion was given. People just assume that, we don't have, so nobody should have. People who said that they religiously followed the Bible, but they lashed out. So we do need to talk about it from a historical, from a psychological, from a philosophical perspective. And I think that this network, all three of these shows, we do address it in some kind of way. We talk about hope and ways to do things and to become what you should be. Study to show that yourself approved. Study so that you understand what's going on around you. It is the reason why I don't give a more rigorous show on Thursday. It's the reason why a lot of the shows that we do are very, very ad hoc. And we try really hard to give people time. That's the reason that I'm on tonight on Saturday. And why I give this time. Because people can't always get on. They can't always get on and ask a historical question. I have people who, I think I said it last week, I get DMs from people all over the world. And one of the things that I said that I would do very early is that I would not expose what people ask me specifically, because I don't want people feeling as if, well, I asked him this question and it is in confidence, and now he's actually making me feel stupid. I don't do that. But we get questions all the time. There are very few historians that I'm still waiting to see it. And I don't dissuade from, I don't discourage it. Historians getting on during the week to talk about history, to give you a place to go. I've talked about so much stuff. I was reviewing recently. Tina's talked about so many things. I think she's like a year, maybe not a year and a half. I have to ask her, into doing a program, talking about self-soothing, talking about how people can live better, and look at what is going on in society. And I know, because I know what goes on with me, that she's busy. But there is a care beyond just the people we know and those who come on faithfully, and I appreciate you. There is a need out here to talk about these things. I don't like fish, and she'll laugh and joke with me. I don't. Sometimes she'll tell me, she's like, baby, I'm like, but it makes her happy, right? It gives her a peace. And when she gets on and she does it, she wants to have it behind her during her show to show you how something, just a fish tank, can help you self-soothe. My son's talking about the dogs, talking about their games. It's deeper than what you think. It's deeper than what you think is just a regular show with people on here bloviating. I watched a video this week and I shared it with my wife and my kids of a woman who deleted a man's characters out of a video game, and I think he was playing it professionally. And he had a breakdown, crying on the floor, a grown man. Because people don't understand those things that soothe and help people to make it through their day. Erudition's purpose, its name, it all means to become knowledgeable, to grow. I've had the benefit of mentoring many people in my life because people took the time to mentor me. Some people don't have a father or a mother or a compassionate person. But we have that. You know, when founding Erudition, we founded it with, and I don't even know if my wife and my kids really know how much they live up to the core values that I ascribe to, that I believe in, and when I was led to start this network. The first being holistic growth. Holistic. That's the first one of our primary core value, holistic growth, growing the whole person, the whole man. Efficacious instruction. We want to be effective. We want to make sure that the instruction that we give is effective. And egalitarian honesty. Now, those sound like big words. You go, I don't know them words. Those are big words because they mean multiple different things. Holistic, efficacious, egalitarian. But at the heart of it, at the real bottom, what are we saying? Complete, effective, equal knowledge. That's what Erudition is about. And I think we do a pretty decent job of it. You know, I spend time with my sons going over so many things outside of Erudition. And I'm sure, just like with many others, they get tired of hearing me. But I try with them, whether it be vocabulary, whether it be history, whether it be English, whether it be science, whether it be math, whether it be geography. All of those things are done to grow them. And I think that that's a good thing, and we encourage it. So I've been on for about 35 minutes. I try not to make this to be an hour unless it needs to be. I see we have 4 people online. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, I don't try to stay on too long on Saturdays unless you all have questions, that you want to throw at us, because you have 3 other times to do it during the week. You don't have to, but I'm going to give some time for you to ask something, put something into the wrap up if you have a question about it. But if you do not, then we will cut this session, this wrap up short, and go on and enjoy the rest of the weekend. But I'll give you an opportunity to drop something in here if you have a question or something that you'd like to discuss. Oh, nothing. No, that's fine, everybody. Listen, if you don't have anything, we'll make this. I was looking to see if I was missing something. If you don't have anything, we'll get on off of here. I see that our friends broadcast Jesse and Philanda are on Saturdays. They do the Real Talk podcast. It's fine. If you're late, you're late. I try to do this as a very ad hoc wrap up. Got on a little bit late tonight because there's some things that were going on, but it's fine. If you have a question or something, man, just drop it. Okay. If you have the time, go on to Facebook and Jesse Philanda, as I said, me and Tina were on their show, I think 2 weeks ago, that their Real Talk podcast. They're on Saturdays. And, I try very hard with our programs to not bleed over into someone else's program. And we try very hard to support everybody that we can who is out here trying to create and present a positive message. That's one thing about me, and I'm very, very committed to doing that. So if you have nothing to ask here tonight, I'm going to let you go. And I'm trying to copy the link for their show. So once I'm off of here, you can go on there and watch them. And all right, there it is. I got it. It was really hard for me to get there for some reason at first. All right. So as I get off of here, here is the link for Jesse and Philanda's show. You can click on that and go to the Real Talk. Once we get off of here, if you're watching, for people that are watching, Teddy, I see you said something. The continued lack of empathy in the country is spreading like a cancer. Please take care of yourselves, and thank you for joining us tonight. Yes, thank you. How young is that picture, Teddy? That looks like you at 10. You're worse than your father with these pictures. You're worse than your father. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Like I said, go over there and join our friends Jesse Philanda on the Real Talk podcast. We will see you all next week. And again, thank you so much for your time. All right. So let's get on out of here. See you guys. Thank you.